Welcome back to Fast Market here on the Schwab Network. It's time for our cash tag segment. For that, let's bring in Megan Brantley. She's the Vice President of Research at Likefolio. Welcome back to the show, Megan.
Thanks for having me, guys.
Happy Friday to you. Tesla, happy July for Tesla investors. This stock's up 26%. You know, it was left for dead about a month ago, 2 months ago, Megan. What kind of data are you guys seeing? Because this is a high beta name that just whips around, it seems like.
Yeah, so, we know we've been tracking Tesla and we've been bullish Tesla for a long time. I feel like we talk with this about you guys a lot, and the fact that we see EVs having reached a tipping point, and we now are looking at Tesla, and I think that this is really important. And it's a question that investors have to ask themselves is, do you see Tesla as merely a car company, or do you see Tesla as a major disruptor beyond just cars and also into AI and robotics and things like that? And we see the latter. So this is a name that when we look at this, we see a lot of potential levers and drivers that Elon Musk can pull to make this company even more profitable and powerful than it already is. I think whenever we look at this just from a pure car perspective first, when we look at visits to Tesla's website, those are up by about 6% year over year and up by about 36% on a 2-year stack. So we see sustained consumer interest, as a little bit of a slowdown in growth, to be fair, but we see a nice 2-year growth range, and just that sustaining, consumers coming to check out their vehicles, check out the cars and availability. And just to give scale, Ford, in contrast, is down 15% on a 2-year stack. So a little bit of diverging, just long-term stories whenever you talk about the vehicle that is capturing the mind of the consumer. And also when we look at just overall levels of consumer mind share. So for all 4 of these competitors, when we talk about Tesla, Rivian, Ford, GM, and all of their prospective brands that fall under their umbrella, Tesla commands about 62% of consumer mind share. So for us, this tells us that consumers are still very interested in Tesla and Tesla vehicles. And perhaps maybe the market isn't thinking long term as we are whenever we look at a name like Tesla.
Megan, this is kind of a tricky time in Tesla's history, because you've got new products coming, and we always talk about the pipeline with Tesla and what's coming next. And I think that's a lot what's driving this move. The combination of maybe the trough in EVs is over and subsiding and swinging back up, and this robotaxi that some people feel could be more than half their revenue going forward. What do you see in terms of, should we be watching? What data should our viewers and us, frankly, be watching? Should we watch Tesla versus autos or Tesla versus AI companies? Where do we put Tesla? I don't know if it's right to have them with autos.
I completely agree. I think for now we have them with autos because for now that is the main driver of its revenue. And I think in the future, though, we will need to increasingly consider other avenues. Tesla has shown off its robot, its Optimus robot, and not only is that driving scale, it's also driving efficiency. And then its robotaxi, as you mentioned, we see a tremendous tailwind in autonomous driving and what the monetization could mean for wide-scale adoption of robotaxis. And we do see this as something that will be increasingly adopted. Whenever we look at consumer mentions or consumer searches, we do see rising interest in full self-driving, rising interest in robotaxis and in some of these services. So I think that there is plenty of runway for growth. There's still a lot of just, making sure that consumers feel comfortable in a driverless robotaxi. That's kind of an initial hurdle that many consumers will have to get over. But we do think that Tesla is the leader here, and we expect this to be a major driver of growth moving forward.
Yeah, I think one of the big things is, the catalysts that we've had, those delivery numbers weren't as bad as the street had anticipated. You've got earnings coming up in a week and a half or so. The robo event got pushed back, even though they're not canceling it or anything. But I think the market took it that way, down nearly 8.5% based on the fact that it had rallied so much into that. But when you look at the robo-taxis, I think that and the energy storage, the robo-taxi, if they get to license that type of technology to the other companies, the OEMs, and anybody else that wants to use it? Is that the biggest thing that Tesla investors have to look forward to? And are you guys still buyers here after a 26% jump in July?
We certainly like this name more on dips. Whenever an opportunity presents like the one did yesterday, I think that that's a really nice opportunity that long-term buyers could take advantage of. And we do see this robo-taxi event. We think that this is a major catalyst for Tesla, a major opportunity if the company can execute. And so far for us, Tesla has proven that it can execute. It typically surprises people, and this is just a name that for us, are we willing to bet against a leader like Musk also who can land rocket ships on a stage? That's not a position that we're going to take. This is a name that we're betting on long term.
All right, great stuff, great data as always, Megan. Have a great weekend.
Thanks, guys. You too.
All right, that's Megan Brantley, Vice President of Research at Lightfolio, breaking down Tesla for us. Yeah, that UBS analyst